and so welcome everyone. My name is Krister. I'm a library programs consultant with the California State Library, and I have the great pleasure of beginning off this session on the always available audiobook collection that Califa and the State Library and Lyrasis and Blackstone Audio are able to bring to all of California. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's in the collection. We'll talk about the program design, and we'll hear from some California librarians who have designs on ways to use the collection in benefit of their community, going from curation of materials and how you present it to the public to sort of the ebook dance that you may engage in with your users as they consider what materials to browse and borrow, and from what avenues to do that. Just to give us a quick background on the project, the eBooks for All project is a really equity-focused collection development project intended to really raise the baseline of service that every single California library is able to offer to our communities. This project really functions by building a shared collection for the entire state to be able to access in addition to their local content. To achieve this, we use the Palace project, which is an ebook aggregator, meaning that it can take materials from your local collection and from the statewide collection and present them to your users in one interface, so they don't need to change between apps or experiences in order to get the benefit of what the state has purchased and the benefit of what your local community has purchased. The project has been built throughout the years here with the aid and blood, sweat, and tears of a lot of really dedicated collection development librarians throughout the state. So we're very happy to have some of those folks on the call today, and also to have their continued efforts in the work that we're doing. And I say blood, sweat, and tears. Collection development work isn't grueling in a lot of sense, but it is really important for libraries and can be really analytical and taxing in that way. And I think that these opportunities to really network with other library workers who do collection development work, who handle the collection with regularity, is a wonderful thing for California libraries to engage in. So there's a kind of a side effect bonus to the work that we're doing here. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the Califa team, who will talk a little bit about the supports they're offering for the project and give us kind of an overview of things. Paula, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about this new collection. We haven't really seen this before, always available audio, unlimited simultaneous use. We've seen it with ebooks, with the BiblioBoard access that we have through the Palace collection of like over, I think it's about 20,000 titles now of EPUBs that are always available, unlimited simultaneous use. But I mean, this is a whole like game changer because audiobooks have become so popular in the last couple of years. And just looking at our own stats for the Palace collection, really adult audio is like taking up about 85% of the holds. And it's kind of where the interest is right now. So that's what we've been purchasing up. And also we've been filling in on Spanish as well, trying to find as much Spanish fiction and nonfiction as we can to support everyone's Spanish collections in the state. But this collection, yeah, pretty excited about it. 3,300 titles, over 3,300 titles, fiction titles, general fiction, romance, mystery, thriller, sci-fi, and urban fiction. So it's a fantastic opportunity to try out this model for 12 months, as much as you can eat, and we'll see how much we can eat in 12 months of these audiobooks. But yeah, other than that, we are always available to answer any questions, anything we can't answer. We can point you to the appropriate person, either at the State Library or at Lyrasis. And yeah, we've been really enjoying the project and seeing the collection grow. It's at, with this 3,300 added, it's now over 50,000 unique titles. So that's pretty significant to add to anyone's collection. And then on top of that, with copies, we're over 100 copies, we're over 150,000. So it's a significant collection. And then adding on top of that, the library's own pursuits with Overdrive, Biblioteca, Access 360, whichever, but all streaming together into the app so that your patrons can find all that you're looking for. And just one last point, I really like that this collection has been brought to the forefront and it's not kind of lurking in the background for people to stumble upon. So we've got a swim lane in everybody's Palace app. Soon as your patron opens up the app, they'll see always available e-audio. And this is the Blackstone collection. So they can browse through there and anything that we have, they can get because there are no holds. And I'll hand it over to whomever's next.
I think it's Blackstone coming up next.
Thanks
Thanks for that introduction.
And
thanks for having us today. We're actually quite excited. So thanks for making time. So I am Anne Fonteneau. I'm the Chief Sales Officer here at Blackstone Publishing. And I am here with Amanda Casserly. She's our Digital Sales and Merchandising Manager. For those who may not be familiar with Blackstone, just a quick introduction. We were founded in 1987. Blackstone is an independent publisher. We have a pretty diverse catalog of over 21,000 titles, and we're still releasing hundreds per month. Originally an audiobook publisher, but we now also publish print and ebooks, featuring, authors from literary icons like Gabriel Garcia Marquez and George Orwell, and more contemporary authors like Whoopi Goldberg, Geneva Rose, Neil deGrasse Tyson. For more than 35 years, we've supported the libraries with a vast selection of content, including more than 100,000 unabridged audiobooks on CD. And we have library partnerships for manufacture on demand with major publishers like Recorded Books, Hachette, Penguin Random House, and more. And as an early digital market entrant, our catalog is available on all major platforms. Obviously, as announced earlier, we recently introduced Blackstone Unlimited, and we're happy to be partnering with Palace and Califa to provide libraries with instant, unrestricted access to a wide array of premium audiobooks. So we're happy to highlight some of the key titles that we have in the Califa collection. So we prepared a short presentation. So let's see if I can share the screen here. Hopefully you can see it. Yes? Okay.
I see it.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, so here we are, unlimited, no waiting, no holes, no limits. Paula did a great introduction, so I don't need to add any more to that. And then Amanda will cover some of our bestsellers.
All right, yeah, so first up, we have some bestsellers to share. Our highlight title there is You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. All the thriller fans in the house are going to be familiar with Geneva. She's the best-selling author of the runaway hit, The Perfect Marriage. You Shouldn't Have Come Here is one of her more recent novels. When Grace Evans books an Airbnb on a ranch in the middle of Wyoming, she's pleased to find that the owner is a handsome single man, eager to introduce her to his easygoing way of life. But what begins as a playful romance soon turns into a complicated web of lies. This one was a New York Times, USA Today, and Publishers Weekly bestseller. It was on a myriad of best of the year lists. So this one really had a lot of buzz around it and continues to. And the audio is read by Andy Art and Andrew Iden, who are favorites of audiobook listeners. And the dual narration really adds a lot of suspense to the story. And then we have some other just examples of the bestsellers that we have to offer. We have Girl, Woman, Other, which was winner of the Booker Prize and many other awards. Girl Forgotten by Karen Slaughter is another wonderful thriller writer who we have a lot of her works in audio. And then, of course, evergreens like I Am Legend and We've Always Lived in the Castle and many more.
All right, and I know many of you are running some community reads, and we wanted to highlight some titles that could be, that are and hopefully will be book club favorites. The first one, our featured title, is Winter's Tale by Mark Alprin. It's a #1 New York Times bestseller. Mark Alprin's masterpiece really transports you to the New York of the Belle Epoque, to a city clarified by a siege of unprecedented snow, and to a love story that is one of the most beautiful and unforgettable in American literature. So you will see the little description here, but A Winter's Tale, if you remember, is a major motion picture that was starring Colin Farrell, Russell Crowe, and Jennifer Connelly, so well known, and it's available. It's a great recording, so hopefully one will be one of the little favorites. Additional book club favorites includes the international publishing sensation, The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out of the Window and Disappeared. It sold over 6 million copies worldwide, and it's a larger-than-life old man with a fondness for vodka that goes on an unexpected adventure in this unpredictable novel, perfect for the fans of Forrest Gump and A Man Called Ove. Next, we have Carol, The Price of Salt. This lesbian cult classic by Patricia Highsmith is the basis of the 2015 Carol, starring Rooney Mara, Cate Blanchett, and Kyle Chandler. Next, you might be familiar also with this Netflix most-watched limited series, The Queen's Gambit. It's the thrilling novel of one young woman's journey through the worlds of chess and drug addiction. And then finally, and not least, The Art of Hearing Heartbeats is the first book of the series, and this is really your passionate love story of a haunting fable and an enchanting mysteries set in Burma. That hardcover sold over 300,000 copies.
Then we have fantasy and science fiction. So our highlight title there is No Gods, No Monsters by Cadwell Turnbull. One October morning, Lena gets the news that her brother has been shot and killed by Boston cops. But what looks like a case of police brutality soon reveals something much stranger. Monsters are real, and they want everyone to know it. So this is a wonderful fantasy, mysterious science fiction book. It's got so many accolades, it's really hard to choose what to feature. It was an Indie Next pick, it was a Library Reads pick, it was winner of the Lamba Award for LGBTQ speculative fiction, it was a New York Times Best Science Fiction and Fantasy Book, and an NPR Best Book of 2021. NPR called it beautifully fantastical. So Cadwell is really a wonderful new writer in the fantasy fiction world, and readers and listeners continue to be drawn to his amazing storytelling. And this is book 1 in the Convergence saga. Book 2, We Are the Crisis, is also available on Unlimited, and book 3 is slated to be published next year. And this series is read in audio by Dion Graham. And then some other titles in the genre. So in addition to some newer and up-and-coming voices, we have plenty of classics that are always in demand, like A Canticle for Leibowitz, which is a landmark of 20th century literature. It's a chilling and provocative look at a post-apocalyptic future, and it was a Hugo Award winner when it came out. So that's one that's always on must-read lists. And also, of course, Heinlein, C.S. Lewis, Orson Scott Card. So a lot of very familiar and in-demand authors.
Moving on to general fiction, a featured title is My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. It was one of the best books of the 21st century by the New York Times. Now an HBO series as well, the first volume in the New York Times bestselling enduring masterpiece about a lifelong friendship between two women from Naples. So the first novel in the series follows Lila and Elena from their fateful meeting as 10-year-olds through their school years and adolescence, and through the lives of these two women. Ferrante tells the story of a neighborhood, a city, and a country as it is transforms in ways that in turn also transform the relationship between two women. As you know, that has been a tremendous success, and it is available in your collection. 4 additional general fiction that we love. The first one is The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek, Also has gotten tremendous accolades, being a Library Reads Peak, New York Times bestseller, USA Today bestseller, PBS Book Pick, an Oprah selection, etc. So it takes place in 1936, Kentucky. Blue-skinned teenager Cassie Carter, the last female of the Blue people ancestry, joins the Kentucky Packhorse Library Service to bring books to the last hill folks. Next, we have Next Year's in Havana. That was a Hello Sunshine, Reese Witherspoon book club pick. And after the death of her beloved grandmother, a Cuban-American woman travels to Havana, where she discovers her roots and her identity. She unearths the family secrets hidden since the revolution. So great one for even book club as well. Next, The God of Small Things was the Booker Prize winner, as well as a New York Times bestseller author. And then finally, Euphoria by Lily King. Also, lots of accolades as Best Books of the Year, New York Times bestseller, and it's definitely the best-selling breakout novel of three young, gifted anthropologists of the 30s caught in a passionate love triangle that threatens their bond, their careers, and ultimately their lives.
And then for the mystery and thriller genre, our highlight title is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. This is Fried Green Tomatoes meets Dracula, when a woman's book club must protect its suburban community from a handsome but mysterious stranger who turns out to be a real monster. It was a New York Times bestseller, as well as many other more niche bestseller lists. The Wall Street Journal called Grady Hendrix a national treasure upon publication of his book, My Best Friend's Exorcism. So he's always in demand for readers and listeners. We featured the book list starred review on this slide, but it also had starred reviews from Kirkus and Publishers Weekly and others. This is obviously a supernatural thriller, but it features Grady's wonderful wit and humor, so it appeals to readers or listeners, Christopher Moore or even Carl Hyacin, who like smart, quirky books. This is another one that would be ideal for book clubs, and the audio is read by Bonnie Turpin. And then also in the genre, just a sampling there, we have many, many mysteries and thrillers on Unlimited, from traditional mysteries like MC Beaton's hugely popular Agatha Raisin series to psychological thrillers like Surrender New York, really everything from cozies to horror.
All right, let's bring in more heat to the summer. Our featured romance title is Secrets of the Lost Summer by Carla Neggers. So going back to where it all began in book one of the classic heartwarming Swift River Valley series set in Knightsbridge, New England, only from the New York Times bestselling author of Carla Neggers. It's a wealth of appealing, totally relatable characters, long hidden secrets, and a lost treasure. Provides some delightful, heartfelt surprises in this cleverly plotted, well-researched, and beautifully described tale that rewards readers with an intriguing mystery as well as a deliciously satisfying romance. That's what Library Journal was saying. So this is available in the collection. Also available is Hooked by Emily McIntyre. It's a dark contemporary romance from the viral Book Talk and USA Today bestselling author Emily McIntyre. It's featuring reimagined characters from popular fairy tales and other stories where the villains gets the happy ever after. Then next we have Dirty Billionaire by New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and USA Today bestselling author Megan March. Who doesn't like an alpha hero? And then Beautiful Ashes by Janine Frost. It's your new adult paranormal romance. And finally, An Irresistible Alliance for anyone who loves Regency romance. It's by #1 New York Times bestselling author Stephanie Lawrence.
And then to round things out, we have urban fiction. Our highlight title there is Dirty Money by Ashley and Jaquavis. Consumed with a desire for revenge, Anari and Monica enter a life of drugs, fast money, and betrayal. Nothing, not betrayal or addiction, will stop them from dispensing their street justice. So Ashley and Jaquavis are the New York Times bestselling duo behind the popular Cartel series. So they have a huge following in the genre. And this one is read by E. Kane, who is a top narrator for these books and has done a lot of the Ashley and Jaquavis novels. And then on the next slide, we just featuring some others. We have many more by Ashley and Jaquavis, and also Quan, who was a #1 Essence bestselling author, and many others that are available in the genre.
Thank you all so much for your time. And of course, if you have any questions on our titles or need recommendation, just let us know.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Blackstone team. I think that there's a lot of intriguing reads there, and I'm really glad that we got to hear about the collection in this way. I think that having a better understanding of what is available to your patron base is really wonderful. Okay, next up, are we moving to Tamara or are we going to Sandra? I cannot recall.
Tamara.
Tamara, thank you.
Yes.
Hi, Tamara.
So I'm Tamara Evans. I'm the Adult Services Librarian and lead purchaser of e-materials at the Beaumont Library District. So that includes Cloud Library, Hoopla, Libby, and Palace Project. Today, I'm going to discuss, or rather explain, how you can transfer your reference interview skills to perform what I like to call the ebook dance. And I'll be using a sample imaginary patron named Rita Reader to explain how the steps are done. So, step 1 of the ebook dance is to establish rapport with your dance partner, aka the patron. In this step, you want to take the lead by asking what type of ebook format they're interested in. Are they interested in an e-audiobook, an ebook, an e-magazine? Are they a Kindle or Audible reader? And also ask what type of the device they'll be using to view the content on. Is it going to be a smartphone, a tablet, a laptop computer, or a desktop computer? So, for example, again, Rita Reader stops into the library and she says she's interested in ebooks. For step 1, I would ask her if she's only interested in ebooks or does she also want to learn about e-audiobooks, as well as what device she'll be reading these ebooks and e-audiobooks on. Rita answers me that she wants to access ebooks and e-audiobooks and she plans to read them on her Samsung Galaxy smartphone. Step 2 of the ebook dance is to negotiate, aka conversate, on what the patron or your dance partner is looking for. In this part of the dance, you're going to take tentative steps to determine what the patron wants to read or agree on what type of dance the patron wants to do. Do they want a World War II historical romance, a cozy mystery, sci-fi space opera, or a small town romance novel? In this step, I would ask leading questions like, what's the last book you read? Or if they haven't read anything in a while recently, I would say questions such as, do you want to read a book set in the past, the present, the future? Or is there a specific setting where you'd like to try and read a book on? Again, following up with the example using Rita, after I ask her these questions, would reply that she wants to listen to an audiobook and she likes celebrity. So she wants to read a celebrity book club pick and she wants the audiobook to be set in the past. Step 3 of my ebook dance is you want to agree on the dance you're doing. Or in this case, we want to agree on what app you're going to introduce your dance partner to. So this dance step can be performed by showing your dance partner or the patron various apps that you have available. So for Beaumont, as I mentioned before, we have access to Libby, we have access to Hoopla, and we also have Palace. Discuss the differences between each of the apps. And then after that, ask, are they comfortable downloading the app to the device, their phone? And then if they're comfortable, show them how easy it is to download the free device, because sometimes patrons worry that there may be a cost for the app. And so just to alleviate any concerns that the apps cost anything, pretty much tout how it's a free service provided by the library. So using the example with Rita would then download the app. She would talk about, of course, how she loves Libby. She has it on her phone already, but unfortunately, Libby also has holds. She can never get her favorite books or anything else. And she just wishes there was an app that she could use. The audiobooks are instantly available. This is when you talk up the Palace Project. So you can mention how they now have instantly available audiobooks. And then again, show her how easy it is to download the app to her phone, add your particular library that's part of the Palace app to their phone, and then just show them how easy it is to check in items and to return items as well. For the final step, I would say step 4 rather, is to follow up and check on the process. See if she's comfortable using the app and if there's any questions that I can help with. If she's comfortable still pursuing the app, using it solo, or does she need to have another dance with me? Haha. So following up with the example with Rita, after we've downloaded the app and I've showed her a couple of the celebrity book clubs. So we've got Reese's, we've got Oprah, we've got Read with Jenna. Rita reports to me that she was able to download the app and she was able to find 2 audiobooks that she likes. She's able to find My Year in Havana, which was a Reese Book Club's pick, which was mentioned in the Blackstone presentation, as well as The Dead Romantics, which was a Good Morning America book club pick, which she was happy and surprised because she didn't realize that Good Morning America had a book club. I replied that I'm glad that she's comfortable using the app and tell her to enjoy her audiobooks. One last thing I'd like to mention in reference to the audiobooks is the importance, as mentioned before, of having staff involvement with collection development. At my library, I've been very fortunate to have a Spanish-speaking coworker be able to assist with the collection development for Spanish fiction titles. I feel like representation is important in our community, and by having access to books in multiple languages, that can help increase the usage of this particular app. So hopefully my presentation on how to do the ebook dance has inspired you to try out the Palace Project, as well as become familiar with the collection so that you can direct people to things that they may not be aware of and increase your reading enjoyment as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamara.
You're welcome.
I love the metaphor. It's really, really elegant and simple for what we're doing here. So thank you for both the presentation and your insights on this. Next, I believe we're going over to Sandra.
To share my screen now, get presentation up here. And hopefully you guys are all seeing it.
I see it.
Great, thank you. So my name is Sandra Breedlove. I'm the Digital Selection Librarian for the Sonoma County Library. I handle the day-to-day, month-to-month, year-to-year management of the digital content platforms, as well as the databases in our system. I do some selection work as well with a team of 5 other librarians. I'm going to talk today about the Blackstone Unlimited Collection, and it's the always available collection in the Palace app, and go over a little bit about curation, marketing, and engagement. So first, as Paula noted, the new collection, the 3,300 always available titles for eAudio from Blackstone, have been placed at the very top of the app platform. So whether you're launching the plat for your first time or you're just advertising this new collection, it's always great to put everything at the top. You also can look around your community and see what you think would be best for them to be at the top as well with this one. This is still 3,300 titles. It's a lot to dig through. So it's probably good practice to pull out something else that might be of interest. Maybe have your staff go through and pick out their favorites or their to-be-read list books, and then create another sub lane here. Hot titles. You see some of these titles that are in the media, or they do really well in other formats or platforms. Definitely emphasize them here. Series starters are always a good one to emphasize, and also just noting in every single title line that it is skip the wait, no way, you can have it now. So just some quick ideas. Engagement for library staff. So when you're first launching Palace, it's really good to promote to all staff at all levels, staff or patrons too, even if they are not currently ebook or audiobook users. They may know somebody who is, and just having them aware of the product and aware of the collections within it, that might spark them to recommend it to people around them as well as use it themselves. But another really good way to get them engaged in this is to let them know how it's going to make their work life easier. How is it relevant to what they need to do on their day-to-day basis? So this particular collection is really good to be used for programming support. You can build book clubs around it. You can support book clubs that are already there. You can check the collection to see if there's anything that you can call out, saying, hey, if you're doing this book club at your branch, go ahead and let everybody know that they can download unlimited access to these audiobooks. Let the staff know this is a relief for wait long times based on if you have a different hold ratios on other platforms or wait lists in any other format. It could be the disc version, could be the print version. It's good to let them know that they do have this access in the audio available to them. And also something to give their super users. You've got those audiobook listeners that can listen to 10, 20 books a month. So this collection is something they can really dig into and have unlimited access and no waits. And they can listen as much as they want. It's really sort of a binge society now. And this is a great way to serve that up to our community. And last but not least, it's budget friendly for the library. It's not something that's going to cost us on the local level. It's something that you can offer freely. Patrons are not going to hit their limits. Libraries are not going to hit their limits, and we can offer more. So then once we have the platform set up and ready to launch with our new collection, we've engaged the staff and let them know how this is going to help them as well as their patrons. We can look at really marketing the collection out into the world. So basically, we're going to show off the gems, just like the Blackstone team just did for us. They had a great start on that, and I'm definitely going to go back to their slides and get some ideas from them. But yeah, so you can market books that have long wait lists. We know that's a friction that people experience elsewhere, and that can relieve that issue for them. Series runs, if you can find full series runs, I saw good ones in the urban fiction and the cozy mysteries section. Definitely push those through. So you've got those series listeners that really just want to listen to all 10 books and not have to go find them in different places. The classics are always good, and the read-alikes. Your genre readers, they're voracious. So that's a good one to definitely promote. Romance, mysteries, and sci-fi. You can also do seasonal road trip listens for families. So if you've got, and the good thing about this particular license is you don't have to create humongous lists, and you don't have to worry about the lists basically being used up where there's nothing available. You can do a list of 10 great road trip listens for the summer or for spring break or for the trip to grandma's house for Thanksgiving. And your patrons, all hundreds of thousands of them, can all listen to them at the same time. And there's going to be always something for somebody to have. And you can also do a weekly or monthly no wait highlight. So grab those really hot titles and just push them up through whatever means you use. Now here I have an example of what we created with our communications team. We had a template created to showcase our new releases every other week to kind of highlight the collection regularly on social media. I took that template and adjusted it and adapted it for the Palace Project app. I added the icon so it's recognizable to what the patrons would find in the App Store. I added a very short link that you can type in easily if it's not clickable in whatever platform it's on. And then I chose 3 different titles. Now these 3 different titles have 3 different situations for our system. You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose has a wait list. And so that's a title I want to highlight to the community. The Deep as the Sky, Red as the Sea is one that is regularly used in our collection. It might not always have a hold list, but it's a very strong book. And so it's another one you can pop out and say, hey, did you miss this one? There was a hold list. It's now available unlimited in audio. You can get it here in Palace. And the third title is one that we've had a couple of requests for that we hadn't added to the collection yet. And so I would probably take one theme for each slide and just do 3 titles that have waitlists, 3 titles that were popular, and then 3 titles that patrons have been asking for, and let them know, like, this is a place that you can look. Did you ask us for something? It might just be here. So I believe, oh, and then how you get this out. So this obviously is an example of social media post. So you can do that on different platforms. You can put QR codes that lead to Palace on your book club handouts, bookmarks. If you give out book sets for community book clubs and they have one of the audios in here, you could probably put a little note in the book set saying when they open it, they can just see, hey, this is also available unlimited as an audio with these print books in case that's of interest. Also newsletters. I do a monthly newsletter to staff, which is something I learned at a different webinar that another colleague had been doing, and it seems to be going pretty well. So every month I just pull together content updates, including this month I did this one, and I send it out to staff so they're aware, because not all of our staff follows all of our social media channels, and I want them to be just as informed as the public as what is available to them, but also pushing these things through the normal newsletters that you might send out to patrons monthly or based on different celebration months, things like that. And how often, really, I go through this whenever there's new additions, whether there's something that sparks my interest. I know it's going to spark other people's interest too. And if I ever have any ideas that come in from staff, we kind of just go with it. And that's about it. So thank you for having me. And if you have any questions, you can email me, drop a question in the chat, and I'll turn it back to the presenters.
Thank you, Sandra. So we've covered a couple of topics today. The overview of the project, we talked about this particular purchase. We talked about some of the materials that are in the collection. We went over the ebook dance you may engage in to help users find the right resource for their current needs. And we talked about ways in which you can engage with your community in promotion of this. But we're going to actually talk about some of the more generic supports that there are as well. Lyricist team, can you tell us about some of the supports that are available to promote the project as a whole and this subset of the collection in general too?
Absolutely. I'm just going to share my screen really quickly too. Okay. Just making sure you can see me.
We see
Awesome.
ya.
So one of the things that I think is great about our relationship with California, as well as all of our partner libraries, is that they hold us accountable, and we have really taken the time to develop ongoing support for our partner libraries. And this ranges everything from traditional to print to social media templates, et cetera, but also just because you are live in the Palace Project app doesn't mean that we go away. We are always looking for feedback from libraries. So in terms of promotion and outreach support, we do have a library resources webpage. I know that I talk about this all the time, but it is the easiest way to find our materials. Everything is on our website, and it is all free, public. You don't have to log in anywhere, and it's easy to find. Oops, bear with me. We have digital assets and logos on that page, as well as links to our YouTube, which has training videos in both English and Spanish. We recently updated our Getting Started guide and now have some translations beyond English and Spanish to some commonly requested languages. Those were AI generated. We did have them verified as best we could. But beyond that, there is a disclaimer on those documents. There's a resource if you'd like them. Beyond that, we also have recorded trainings and webinars, those printable materials, as well as our external links and instructional materials. And as I said, we are always looking for feedback. If you want to schedule a meeting with me to talk through things, I'm always happy to meet with libraries. But beyond that, we've just launched our new feedback board through FeedBear. This is an opportunity for libraries to provide direct feedback on the types of resources and features that they're looking for. So if there's something that you would like to get on our roadmap, that is definitely something that we would love to hear from you about. And unfortunately, my graphic is not showing up here, but we do have a list library that we've started in the California CM, where we are in the process of creating some custom lists for you to share. So these shareable lists can be created, can help to create lanes in the Palace Project app. So basically the idea is that you can engage with your patrons by customizing your catalog through these lanes. So some of the content that we've kind of looked at already is always available Spanish language content, which I did have a screenshot of. You could use those pre-existing shared lists to create those custom lanes. And we have a nice 2 to 3 minute training video specifically about how to create those lists and lanes in the Palace Collection Manager. And we have a longer, well, I would say about a 10-minute video that's available as well, all about how to access and utilize the Collection Manager. There it is. Beyond that, we do have those resources. I mentioned we have that Palace Project resources page, that YouTube channel, link to the marketplace if you're ever interested in purchasing additional content. We do have a contact specific for California libraries, and as always, a great way to keep up with what we're working on is to sign up for our quarterly newsletter. We are going to be continuing to add new resources. This is a great way to keep tabs on what we're working on, as well as make some suggestions for us. And with that, I think it's time to open up for questions.
Thank you, Jill. And I know that this is the lunch hour for many folks, so we do have time for questions here, though. We would love to hear if there are things that you're interested in this collection, if you've got any questions about what's in there, or want to know any more about the supports that are available. We're available to answer your questions. So please let us know. You can come off mute. You can say in the chat. Can we pause the recording for this in case anyone wants to come off mute or show their camera?
Sure, I'll pause right now. Thanks, everyone.
Welcome back from our recording pause. We took a couple of questions. We were glad to hear from folks. We're going to give our panelists and presenters one last time to leave us with any parting words. So does anyone have anything more that they'd like to add to the conversation here?
I did put the steps for the ebook dance into the chat, so if anybody wants to give it a whirl, feel free to do so.
I just want to say to let your patrons know that this is live as of yesterday. So they're good for the weekend. They can take the day off work tomorrow and spend their time trying to figure out all the things they need to check out.
Okay, with that, I want to thank our speakers today, Tamara, Sandra, Califa, the Blackstone team, and lyricists. We really appreciate your time and the energy you put into this. Thank you for taking the effort to make sure that other libraries can be aware of the resource here and ways that they can help navigate it to their community. And I think you all get 5 minutes back for a quick bite for lunch. There we go.
Have a
Thank
good day,
you.
everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.